How's it going, guys? So this is a Kein Fab lift kit for a 2003 to 2006 Subaru Baja and Baja Turbo. Um, I'm going to do a basic unboxing video today. So more or less, we're going to be installing this on my 2005 Subaru Baja in the future here. However, today we're just doing the unboxing video as I'm still waiting on struts for that thing. So let's get into it here. He always includes the stickers. Unfortunately, the way he had them set up in the original packaging, I cut through them, unfortunately. So, but he does include decals. So I guess we'll just cut right into here. You just gotta be real careful because we don't want to like cut anything up. Build quality looks amazing so far. We don't know until we really get it apart here. Packing was really good, actually. You'd think that it would take a while to get over here from Russia, but actually came in about like a week and a half, 2 weeks, which is pretty nothing short of a miracle, to be honest. So here we go, starting to get into the meat of this thing. One part. Again, everything's packaged really freaking well. Almost make it impossible to get into. So these look like the front two, rear two spacers, and these look like our rear subframe spacers and links. You got that there. Another one over here. Alright, so there's that. Get this out of the way. So, alright, so we got, it looks like the front two guys, and we also have the rear two mounts. So we'll do the front first. Again, everything's really packaged well. He uses like a ton of cardboard and wrapping material. It really protects the kit from overseas shipping and whatnot, because you know shippers are generally really hard on things, especially from overseas. So got the face material. You got aluminum spacers for the rear subframe. It's like that for pretty much all of them. They're all very similar like that. Got a nice little chamfer on it. No like super sharp edges, just does an actually amazing job. Really pleasantly surprised here. Packing this up here. Okay. Just now looking at this powder coat, and boy does it look nice. Holy man. Stuff looks like it'll hold up really well on the chassis. Absolutely gorgeous. So this is basically suspension and subframe lift kit. But you can see this is absolutely gorgeous build material here. So it looks like he has insets, and these pieces are all either water jet or laser cut. And then what he does is he pre-assembles them together, and it looks like he does a nice weld pretty much all around the circumference of this thing. So this is our 2-inch lift here. So then what that'll do is this bolts directly on top of the strut for anyone not familiar, and then you use these here. You tighten your top hat of the strut down to this, and then this is what goes up into the subframe of the vehicle. Beautiful, beautiful gray powder coat looks like, and then he even has them marked like right for front right, and wow, just really amazing looking here. So we'll keep going. You just gotta be super careful opening them up. I already cut some stickers by accident because I got a little too excited opening the box up. There we go. This looks like a rear spacer of some sort. So it's labeled BE. My wagon over there is a BH. BEBH is like a 3rd gen Legacy Outback, but the Baja actually uses a very similar chassis. It's just like with the back cut off. Again, welded really nice, labeled left for obviously left-hand side. Welds look great. Good penetration on the welds as well. And that powder coat, you can't go wrong with that. So we got that guy there. We'll open up this back one here. The powder coat, I'm sure just really, it honestly makes these pieces look amazing. And I'm sure the longevity is also increased from this as well. As you can see, this is going to be the rear perch mount, labeled Kein. Structurally really sound. Again, welds look amazing on these. Got that awesome powder coat finish. And this is going to be the exact same thing of what I just showed you, so there's no sense in really unboxing that. And you basically see what's everything here. And then we got this guy as well. So this is again going to go on your rear mount for the rear subframe. It's like always crazy to unopen this stuff here. What's going on? Make it tough to open. Alrighty. Then it looks like we got hardware here. We got some hardware in that. We got this guy here. Let's open up this hardware as well. I believe this hardware is to space out the rear subframe because we're basically just dropping the subframe down, which in turn lifts the body up. Open this guy up here. Yep, so we got some hardware here, more garbage. Yeah, so these are going to be our main bolts. I believe these are what go through these guys like that. If he didn't include any washers, I might grab some washers just to add additional, so you're not gouging up your aluminum pieces here. But what will happen is it'll go through the subframe, and then this will go between the subframe and the body, and then this bolts into the body more or less. So awesome. And this is grade 10.9 hardware. Doubt this will have any issue holding the suspension together. And we got this guy too. So this is going to be the rear subframe. This is, I believe it's the front arm spacer. I didn't look into the directions on how to install yet. We're just strictly doing the unboxing video today. So this is going to go between the rear arm. Everything was pieced together. It's got all its little indents and marks here, welded. Absolutely just gorgeous pieces. Again, you got the sweet Kein Fab logo, and you got it labeled for the left-hand side, right-hand side, so there's no question about where these parts are going. It's going to be, I mean, once you get the instructions printed out, I know Anderson Design Fab has a very similar kit as well, so you can check out the instructions for them as well. But for pretty much a fraction of the cost, you can get it from Kein Fab, and I think the build quality is just amazing on these. Like I said many times before, the powder coat and welds just look amazing. Really excited to get this all wrapped up here, and we're going to be working on getting it installed on the Baja real shortly. Just wanted to give you guys kind of an overview with everything unpacked, how awesome everything looks. Included the hardware, decals, spacers, pretty much anything you would really need for the install. So again, really excited to do this install video on the Baja. Stay tuned. Here we got the strut, whole assembly reinstalled, fresh OEM struts, reuse the springs, new top hats. We've got the 2-inch lift on top, Kein Fab 2-inch, and then all you're going to do is use your hardware that goes with the top hats and bolt the new spacer directly to your original top hat. And then I just used just a regular box wrench with the mallet just to get them pretty snug. You don't want to overkill them because it's just a through stud, but you could use a 3-bolt as well, but it's on there pretty good. And then the nut on the inside that holds it all together, I use the impact to put it all together, but we got that one there. And we got this one installed already. I don't know if you can see in there at all, but ready to go back in. Continuing with the rear lift, the rear hardware is not long enough. So what I did was I got these guys from Bellmetric, M14 1.5 pitch by 100. And these are for the front trailing arm. You'll need 3 per side, 6 total. These longer bolts, I loaded it up with anti-seize and then also added a washer as well. The washers are not included with the kit, but I'm going to use them. And that's the length you need for that. Rear subframe overall, just kind of sagging there, and then I put the pucks in and then used the hardware to include that they included with the kit, and that fit just fine. So the camera ended up dying. However, I figured that it would be easiest to just show a couple diagrams here with some arrows and kind of explain the process. So basically what we have here is the strut in the rear of the vehicle. You got 2 studs up top that come out of the strut where we're going to be attaching our 2-inch spacer to. And then there's one big 17mm bolt that goes through the hub. So what you're going to want to do is remove that big bolt in the bottom, and then you have to take some of the interior pieces apart in the cabin. It's relatively easy to get to those guys. Once you have that apart, you remove those 2 bolts, and the whole strut assembly drops straight down. Once you do that, you can kind of leave it in place. Honestly, that's how I did it. Drop it straight down, put the strut into the new spacer on top, tighten those nuts down, feed it back up, and then I found it's actually easiest to either put a jack under or have someone hold it up while you go inside and grab the 2 nuts to tighten the top hat into the subframe or the frame of the vehicle. Then the next easiest thing to do probably is to put that jack underneath and pump that up in place of where the through bolt goes through the hub and into the strut, and tighten that to 59 foot-pounds, and tighten up your connections at the strut to spacer and spacer to frame. So after installing the strut assembly, you're going to kind of move on to these 2 rear spacers that go from the rear support arms of the subframe and connect to the chassis. You can see there's left and right, they're both labeled, and the Kein Fab label goes towards the rear of the vehicle after installing them. Here's the rear passenger side spacer, a little bit zoomed in. So there's 4 quantity of these bolts. They're M10 1.25 pitch. Once you drop the subframe down, it's good practice to chase those threads out, clean the threads out of any contamination or rust before installing the new kit. That's what I did, and it makes the reinstallation a lot easier. So here are some pictures with the lift all installed. Obviously, when you finish installing the lift, you're going to want to drive it a little bit, do another nut and bolt check, make sure all your torque specs are good. I'm going to link the ADF install below because they have a pretty thorough one with a lot of torque specs and whatnot, and the installation is not too different from them. As you can see, the lift is nice and level when unloaded, and even when it's loaded, the lift, I think, doesn't sag much at all, only when you have a bunch of weight in there, but it's going to sag either ways if you loaded it down. But under normal operation, unloaded, it sits pretty level, which is great. I love my lift. I think that with the wheel and tire combo, these here are 215, 75/15 tires and 15x7 VT502 method rally wheels. I think they look great on it, and it's, I think, by far one of the greatest combos for the Baja. Your ground clearance is now going to be 10.4 inches, which is just phenomenal, along with the wheel and tire that might offset it a little bit or raise it. So clearing stuff and going off-roading or just overlanding, it just makes life a lot easier. I think it gives it a real aggressive look and how they should have looked from the factory, in my opinion. Overall, I'm really happy with my lift kit from Kein Fab. I thought that it installed very easy after getting the old hardware out, chasing threads, and reinstalling everything. It's also a good idea to get the adjustable lower control arms for the rear. That allows the alignment guy to dial in the positive and negative camber so you're not just shredding tires. They also make adjustable toe arms as well that may be of interest if you can't get that aligned correctly. I didn't have any issues. He was able to bring it all in, and there was nothing beyond that. There's also, I know some people that have issues with CV axles, and in the time that I had my Baja, there's little to no issue that I had with them. I replaced all the boots and some axles new when I refreshed everything and had it all ripped apart. That could lead to it. So it's up for stipulation as to why they would fail. If you're on the fence about doing the lift, I would highly recommend it. It's one of the best mods I could have done for my Baja, and I highly suggest using the Kein Fab kit.